Go. So thank you so much for joining this session. So we're going to be looking at how you can actually sell yourself to employers and also develop your personal brand. So just before we start, has anyone heard of that term before? Has anyone heard of personal brand before, or is this a brand new concept for you all? And don't worry if it's brand new to you, because it won't be by the end of the session. If you want to let me know as well, like if you're in your final year, I'm guessing most of you probably will be, or if you're completing a postgrad, or where you're kind of up to on your university journey. And if you're looking for jobs at the moment, that would be really handy for me to know, just so I can tailor the session a little bit for you and give you different advice. So do let me know, share in the chat box with where you are up to. Okay, so we'll make a start and I'll keep checking in the chat box as well. So if you have any questions as we go through, just let me know. So during this session, we are going to look at what a personal brand is, what we're on about when we say personal brand, and why it's actually important to have one. We're also going to look at what experiences you have and then how you can actually write about those experiences when you are applying for jobs or even in interviews as well. And then we'll start to build your personal brand. I'll start to give you the building blocks so you can do that. Okay. Fabulous. So what is a personal brand then? We've all heard of branding in general, but what is a personal brand? So a personal brand is all about your reputation. So if someone said your name, you know, it's the reputation that goes with that. It's also what you are promising to do in a professional capacity. Okay, so if you're in a particular job role, it's your promise to that organization, to your customers, to your clients, and so on. And it's also your identity. Okay, so it's a combination of these things, but it is an authentic reflection. It's not something that we make up. It's not something that we cultivate and pretend. It is an authentic reflection of you. Okay, it's how you come across to the outside world, to potential employers, to your colleagues. So what is your professional image? And the really lovely thing is that you get to create this and you can make it whatever you want it to be. It's how you want to come across, how you want to be known. Okay, I've just had a direct message as well. So third year graduating in July. Yay, congratulations. And actively job searching. Amazing. Is there any particular area that you are looking to work in? Just let me know. So of course, if you don't want to put in the main chat, you can send direct messages to me on here as well. And like I say, I will read them out or comment back to you also. Okay, so just to begin with, and just to warm us up a little bit, and just to get you used to the whole idea of branding before we look at you as a brand, let me know what brands that you love and why. So just in the chat box, what brands do you use every day? What brands are like your go-to and why? What is it about them? Okay, what is it about them that draws you to them? Why is it that you go for a certain brand? What is it that you love about them? Oh, criminology and sociology graduate. Not sure what I want to do next. Oh, you can do so much. The world is your oyster. So many opportunities. It's exciting. And I would say as well, like, don't worry if you're not, you know, specifically using your degree. That's okay too, because the skills that you've got from your degree, you can apply to lots of different things. Another final year, looking for jobs or grad schemes. Awesome. Psychology and criminology. Amazing. Love it. So we've got 2 criminology. Fab. I did my master's in psychology as well. So you might actually quite like branding stuff. It links in quite nicely. Maybe not into criminology, but it does link to psychology. So what brands do you love and why? Obviously, there's no right or wrong answer with this. But what are your go-to brands? What is it that you like about them? If you want to unmute yourself and chat to me as well, you are more than welcome to. You don't have to use the chat box if you'd rather talk. It's not a problem. I always find there's a little bit of a debate when it comes to phones. So Apple versus Android usually. Coffee is an important one to me as well. I'm firmly in Team Starbucks, but I know a lot of people have their preferences. So what is it that makes you have that preference? By looking at this will help you when it comes to creating your personal brand as well. Because a little bit of psychology for you, which you guys might be aware of, what you love and what you recognize and what you value in another brand, in another person, in another product is a reflection of you. It's a reflection of your values. It's a reflection of what is important to you. And it's a reflection of the type of person that you are. So this is a really important exercise just to help you to start thinking about what brand you might be. Okay. So just any ideas, just fling them across. If you want to send them direct to me and remain anonymous, you can do. But what brands do you love and why? And then we can move on. Okay, so we've had one say Apple because you know how to use them. Yeah. So if something's user friendly, if you're familiar with something, that can attract you to it. Absolutely. Another Apple because of the layout. Okay, nice. So because of the layout of the phone. So we like how it functions. Okay, so functionality might be something that you want to consider, or familiarity might be something that you consider in your personal brands. Any others? This is something I would encourage you to come back to as well when you do start to build your own brand, because it will help you for sure. Okay, we'll move on because we've not got too much time today, but do have a go at that. And the next thing that I would like you to do, and this is really fun for me as well. So when we are thinking about our personal brand, it's really about who you are. So if you were to write your dictionary definition, so if we looked up your name in the dictionary, what would be written next to it? And again, just pop this in the chat box for me. Just literally first thing that comes to mind, just one sentence. What would be your dictionary definition? This is the professional dictionary. Okay, this is the professional listings of all the wonderful people that are available for job opportunities. So what would be written next to your name? We also had Google because its services are efficient and free. Okay, so you value efficiency, which is good. And hopefully you're not going to be working for free. So that might not be one that you carry through into your personal brand, but efficiency, most definitely. Okay, first dictionary definition, resilience and quick learner. I like that. Resilience is so, so important, and employers will love to see that as well, especially, after all the changes and everything we've had to go through with the pandemic. Resilience is a key. Brilliant, well done. We have another, confident and calm. Oh, I like that. That's lovely. And I think that's a good kind of twosome to have, if you like. So you've got the confidence but also calm, which is really helpful, especially in stressful situations or under pressure. That's fab. Willing to learn and develop and friendly, very, very important, especially if you're going to be working as part of a team. And that willingness to learn and develop is also, that's what's going to make you actually have a fulfilled career as well. Okay, fabulous. Okie doke. So these are some activities for you to try later on. Okay, so we are going to send you the slides from this session, so you have got a copy. So these are activities to have a go of, and this again will help you just start to lay the foundations of building your personal brand. So what do you want to be known for? So similar to your dictionary definition, if you are on someone's phone under their speed dial, what would you want to be known for? Why are they calling you? What are you going to be known for in the industry that you're going into? Or what would you like to be known for in the job that you have? What's the first thing people are going to call you for? Okay. And then another activity for you is, what are your strongest skills? Okay. So thinking about the skills that are relevant to your industry or to the job roles that you're applying for, how do you sort of map to them? Okay, what skill set do you have that are actually important to the role that you're going to be going into? Okay, we've had another dictionary definition: reliable, honest, and level-headed. Perfect. I don't know any employer that wouldn't want that as part of their team. That's amazing. Thank you. So by identifying these, this will help you not only bring up keywords that you might want to use in like your bio and things, but it will help you build that brand as well. And it will help you when it comes to then looking at job ads, because you'll be able to map those skills across and map those qualities that you have to see if it's a fit. Because remember, with the recruitment processes that you're going to be going through, it is a two-way street. So as much as, you know, you might have a need for a job, there might be, you know, financial obligations that you need to meet. So you do need to have that employment, but at the same time, it has to be a fit for you, just as you have to be a fit for them. Okay, so just remember, it's a two-way street, and it is a little bit of a mapping exercise and seeing, you know, is that organizational culture, does that match me as a person and my brand? Is it a fit? Okay, because if it's not, then that's when people don't particularly enjoy the work that they're doing, or they end up job hopping, or they struggle to get recruited. Okay, so just have a little go of those activities in your own time. I'm going to give you our contact details as well later on, so you'll be able to let us know how you get on or ask us any questions as well. Has anyone got any initial questions about those to begin with? You're all good. I will keep checking the chat box as well. So if you do have any questions, I can always come back to them at the end. Okay, lovely. So why is all of this important? So why is it actually important that you create this brand, that you create this professional identity for yourself? One of the things, it's actually not on the slide here, but one of the things that I do think is really important is to help you make that transition. So at the moment, your identity is a student. Okay, you've been a student for the last 3-4 years, or however long you've been at university or in education prior to that. You know, it's a really long time that you have had this identity as a student. So if you're then going into job roles, you know, if you're working in criminology, if you're working as a psychologist, that is a whole different professional identity. And quite often people really struggle with that transition, because it's almost alien. It's like, well, I've been a student for so long, and this is what I know, this is what I'm familiar with. And it's almost like you feel like a bit of an imposter, because you're still a student in your mind. But actually, you're not. You're a graduate and you are a professional. So creating a professional identity, even if it's just on paper, even if it's just on your LinkedIn profile to begin with, that will help you step into that identity and actually go, oh yeah, that is me. I am capable of all these things. I am that professional. So that's another reason why this is important. But coming back to the slide, the reasons that we have as being important for this branding is, of course, as you know, the job market is going to be competitive. Having said that, there are more jobs available than there are people to fill them. So don't feel like there aren't jobs available, because there are, but there is always competition, and competition is a great thing. Okay, because it helps you up your game, and it helps you actually care about how you come across as well. So you want to make sure that you're coming across as memorable, that you're unique, that you're sharing all your qualities that make you you, that are unique and special. And you know, all those definitions that you just gave me, they were all different. So you've already demonstrated that you have those unique qualities. Okay. Also, it's the impression that you make. So you will know this as well. So whenever you're, you know, if you use LinkedIn, if you're looking at profiles on there, or even if you're on like Facebook or Instagram, whenever you look at someone's profile, you form an impression of them. Okay, you'll have done it with your academic staff. You'll have done it in this session as well. So we always form an impression, and it's usually within the first 60 seconds of actually looking at someone's profile or meeting them in person. So you want to make that professional impression of whatever you want to come across as. If you want to come across as confident, if you want to come across as knowledgeable, if you want to come across as organized, you know, these are things that you maybe then want to think about as you build your brand and how you look in the online space, but also when you are networking in person as well. And of course, that leads to opportunities, which ultimately, I guess, is what you guys are looking for is employment opportunities. So another reason it's really important to build this in, because it's not just on your online profiles, as we'll mention later, it's your CV as well. And it's how you come across in interviews or in general networking events. Okay, so really, really important that we do actually consider this, okay, and how we are coming across. Okay, so little thinking time for you. So just having a think about your skills and in relation to the industries that you're going to be going into, it's important to know why they're actually useful. I know that sounds a little bit daft, but if you say, I'm really, really organized, great. Why is that useful? Okay, it depends on what role you're going into. So you will have tons of transferable skills. You might not have been working in a psychology department for your degree. You might have had a part-time job in Starbucks or whatever, but what skills has that given you that you can transfer? Okay, why are the skills that you have useful, and how can you use those skills to help the organization that you want to work for? What qualities are you bringing to the table? And this does link to the law of reciprocity, which I can never say, it's a bit of a tongue twister, but this is the idea that we all naturally like to give and receive. Okay, if someone gives you a job opportunity, they are expecting something in return. If someone is paying you a salary, they are expecting something from you. Okay, so what that something is your skills, your qualities, and how you are going to do the job that you have been offered. Okay, so just have a little think about the skills that you have. I'm going to give you another way of doing this in a second, but when you are doing your applications and you're talking about your skills, ask yourselves these questions. So why are those skills useful? How can it help that organization or that employer? And what other qualities are you bringing to the table? And it might be that you're friendly and that you're confident. Okay, they are great qualities to have as part of a team. Okay, if, for example, you were doing something where you're going to be working completely on your own and there is no team, then the fact that you're friendly probably doesn't really matter if you're going to be working on your own. But the fact that you are organized and can manage your own time, they would be important skills. Okay, so just make sure you're thinking about the skills that are actually useful for the job that you're applying for. Okay, does that make sense to everyone? Any questions on that? Are you all good? Okay, so linking to those skills, what we want to do before you start to build your brand, before you start to fill in your application forms, before you start to pull together your CV, you want to compile evidence. Okay, so evidence that backs up your brand. So you're saying that your brand is XYZ, that you're this amazing professional person. We want to compile evidence that proves that. Okay, so we're going to look in 3 different areas. You're going to look at the work experience that you've had. So that can be paid or it can be voluntary roles as well. Okay, it doesn't matter where that work experience has come from. It might have been that you just did an open day at university or you volunteered on an event over a weekend, but you will have evidence from that work experience that backs up what you are saying about yourself. Okay, of course, you've then got your education as well. So your degree for one, but also any extracurricular activities that you have taken part in while you've been here at John Moores. Okay, so what extracurricular activities you've been involved in, whether that's a sports team, whether you've been in a society, whatever it may be. Okay, those extra activities, if you've been an ambassador or a course rep, those will have given you evidence of your skills and also the type of person, the type of professional that you are. So there's a big chunk of evidence for you. And of course, don't forget your personal life as well. Okay, so you don't always talk about these on your CV, but they are going to form part of your personal brand because your home and your social life is important in forming the kind of person that you are. So, that's going to help you determine what sort of professional you're going to be as well. So don't be afraid of looking at your home life and your hobbies as a way of compiling evidence of the kind of person you are. Okay, especially, if you've been caring for a sibling or, if you had to look after your brothers or sisters during the pandemic and you were homeschooling them or helping to homeschool them, you know, that's an amazing skill. And that's multitasking when you had other stuff of your own going on as well. So don't be afraid to draw on that experience when you're compiling your evidence. Okay. Any questions on building your evidence? This is just exactly what you will do when you are creating your CV or filling in an application form. You're going to be evidencing the skills that that employer is looking for. Okay, you're backing up your personal brand. Okay, so how you can actually demonstrate this. If you were on the session yesterday, you will have seen this already, but this is a brilliant technique and you can use this in interviews as well. You can use this in networking conversations. You can use this when you're messaging people on LinkedIn. You can use this on your application forms, on everything. Okay, so it's a really lovely technique. Has anyone heard of STAR before? Anyone come across the STAR technique? Like I say, you will have done if you were on a session yesterday with me, or if you've been on any sessions with us before, you might have done. Yep, used it, fab. Perfect. So it's a really, really lovely way of demonstrating your skills, demonstrating the kind of person that you are, but also getting across your point. Okay, talking about your experiences and doing it in a really concise way that's really clear to the employer or whoever it is that you're speaking to, that you are able to do what they're asking if you can do. Okay, so I've actually written this on my hand before when I've gone into interviews or drawn a star just to remind me to use this technique. So really, really handy. So the acronym stands for, you've got the S for situation, the T is for task, the A is for actions, and R is for results. So I've just got a couple of examples to show you. So these are the kind of questions that you are often asked about, either in an interview, if you are at a networking event, or if you're filling in an application form. This is the kind of stuff that you will be asked about. Okay, so just some examples. We've got, can you tell me about a time that you worked well as part of a team? And we are looking for someone who is able to do whatever is specific to your industry or specific to that role. Is this something that you can do? Is this something that you are capable of? So if we use the STAR technique to answer these, it just makes it a little bit easier, because otherwise we could either really struggle to come up with an answer at all and struggle to put our experience into words to convey that, yes, I can work well as part of a team. Or if you're like me, you end up rambling about it, okay? And you're not coming across as concise or organized. So using this technique can help. So if we apply that to the first question, just to give you a bit of an illustration, the situation when you have worked as part of a team would be John Moore Students' Union, you were part of a sports team. Okay, the task that you had at hand was the final game of the season. So the actions that you took were scheduling extra training sessions, having a pre-game briefing, and allocating people into their best positions. Okay, the end result was that you won. Amazing. Okay, so you've really nailed the fact that, yes, I can work well as part of a team. Here is my evidence. Here's when I've done it. Okay, the next example. So I've gone for working under pressure because I used to work in the events industry. So this is something I was asked a lot. So we are looking for someone who is able to work under pressure. Is this something that you are capable of? And, you know, you might have work experience that you can talk about, but I've just used an example here that you are all probably overly familiar with. And I've gone for a university example. So don't worry if you are someone who doesn't have a lot of work experience, or if your work experience is in a completely different sector. It doesn't matter. The skills and the qualities and the type of person that you are is what is important. Okay, the fact that your job might have not been in criminology or in engineering or whatever, that doesn't matter. What matters is your skills and your willingness to learn and develop. Okay, so the example we've got here, the situation of working under pressure was having a university dissertation and exams at the same time. So the task was that you had to manage your time effectively to actually write your dissertation and revise as well. So the actions that you might have taken, you might have planned out a schedule, balanced your activities, you might have even had an accountability buddy and checked your progress daily. The result of doing that is that you submitted on time and you passed your exams. Okay, so just again, really nice way of just being concise, being clear, and getting across, yes, I am capable of working under pressure. Okay, has anyone got any questions about that? Or if anyone is unsure how to use the STAR technique, please feel free to ask. I will come back to questions at the end as well. So if you want to type away, I can always come back to them. Okay, so coming back to this personal brand, these are the places that you might want to consider showcasing yourself as a professional and showcasing your brand. Okay, so depending on what kind of industry you're going to be going into, you might have your own website, or if you are going into a creative sector, you might have a portfolio of your work as well. You might use LinkedIn, you might use Twitter, you might use Facebook or Instagram. And if you are a writer or you're going into like a scientific field and you're doing research, you might have a blog. So these are just different platforms that you can utilize to engage with potential employers or whoever it is who is your audience, which I'm going to come to in a second. So don't feel like you have to just follow the traditional methods, if you like, of engaging with employers. So your CVs and your application forms and using job sites. You know, there's actually a session on tomorrow about the hidden jobs market, because that is the biggest part of the jobs market and actually finding employment. So your traditional methods account for like 20% of jobs, if that. So using these platforms to engage with employers or whatever your target audience is a lovely way of showing yourself in the light that you want to, in the brand that you want to have, and also engaging with other people. And that might be engaging with people in the industry. It might just be networking with them. It might be so you can find out what it is you want to do, because it's okay if you don't know right now. Okay, that's completely normal. When I graduated, I left the country and went traveling because I didn't know what I wanted to do. But that travel experience, you know, I got work experience even more while I was away, and that built up different skills again. And I ended up working in travel when I came back and events. So it doesn't matter if you don't know right now what you want to do, but you can use these platforms to engage with people and generate ideas as well. So things to consider when you are using those platforms. Oh, there we go. There, we want to consider your audience. So consider who you are speaking to, okay, or who you are trying to impress. So if you're looking for a job, you're trying to impress the recruiters or the managers, okay? They're the people that you want to reach. So ask yourself, what are you promising to deliver to them? You know, are you an expert in social media? Are you really skilled in marketing? Showcase that. Show that on your platforms. Okay, have a portfolio, have a blog, whatever it may be, and think how you can build trust. Okay, people will employ people that they feel they can trust and that they like as well. It's, you know, like and trust factor. Okay, it's the same when we're buying products or you're buying from the brands that you love. You know, you have to be aware of them, you have to like them, and you have to trust them as well. So when we spoke before, you know, we have a trust for Apple. We trust Google will give us the answers that we ask it. Okay, so you want to build trust in yourself as well. So to do that, you know, think how you can help. Okay, how can you engage with your audience? What can you share with them? And it might be, you know, people share reels or stories or whatever it may be, or you might share something that you've read that your audience might find interesting. Or if you're wanting to work in the industry, so events industry, for example, which was my industry, you know, I might share things that were going on in the sector just to show anyone who was looking at my profile that I was actually keeping my knowledge up to date, and that I knew how technology was advancing, that I knew that experiential marketing was actually becoming more of a trend. So I would share that knowledge. And if people weren't aware of that, then that was helping them and giving them a knowledge boost. But for anyone who was potentially looking at my LinkedIn profile, they would have seen, oh, you know, she's pretty up to date with what's going on. So she knows her stuff. Okay. Think about what is unique about you. So coming back to that dictionary definition, think about how you want to connect with people. Do you want to just share posts? Do you want to write that blog and send it to people? Do you want to be replying to what other people are posting? Do you want to be sending direct messages to potential employers? So think about how it is you want to connect with people. And throughout all of this, reflect on what's working, reflect on what isn't working for you. Okay, and it might be really handy for you to come along to the session on the hidden jobs market, because that will help this make a little bit more sense for you as well when it comes to job hunting. But does that make sense to people? Has anyone got any questions on that? Especially if this is the first time you've kind of considered it, it can be quite alien, but you can apply this to the traditional ways of job hunting as well. So, you know, when you're writing your CV, when you're filling in those application forms, you know, what are you promising to them? How can you help them? What is unique about you? You want that to come across, and it might come across in the style of your CV. Your CV might have different colors to it. You might use different font. Okay, it might be the design element of it. Okay, you might be just sharing that evidence and using that STAR technique so you can actually showcase what you're capable of. And that will help build that trust factor as well. Okay, so just before we finish up, has anyone got any questions or any concerns about creating your personal brand, or any ideas that you've had as well that you would like to share with people? Hopefully that's given you lots of food for thought in how to start creating your personal brand and your professional identity, how you want to come across, who it is that you want to see you, who do you want to impress, who do you want to hire you. It might be different opportunities that you're looking for. It might not be that you're looking for work opportunities. You might be looking for travel opportunities, or you might be looking for extra learning and development opportunities. You might be looking for someone that you can train with on something. Okay, so your personal brand, you'll tweak it as well, depending on what your objectives are, whether your objectives are to secure employment or a graduate scheme, whether your objectives are to secure a training contract. You will adjust your brand accordingly, but just remember, it always has to be an authentic reflection of you, but it's the very best version of you, which is where it can be a little bit unusual to really showcase yourself and actually, you know, shout out about what you're good at. It's not something we do very often. Okay, so the last thing I've got on here is just our contact details for you. So if you do have any follow-up questions, you've also got the link on here to our Career Zone site. So you can book a one-to-one if you would like to with a careers advisor. You can search for graduate jobs on here as well, and grad schemes. And then you've also got our Career Zone 24/7. So loads of interactive tools on there, which could be really, really handy. So there is a CV checker if you are looking for jobs at the moment. There's an interview simulator on there as well. There's more stuff on personal branding that you can check out, and loads of other bits and pieces. And of course, you've got our events website listed on here as well. So if you want to come along to any of the other webinars this week, you're very, very welcome to. And we have also got, I don't know whether you've been made aware of this already, but we have got our grad cafe that is taking place in the Student Life building. So that is on Thursdays from 11 till 1. And we have coffee and tea and cake and biscuits. So do feel free to come along to that. You can just drop in and have a chat to us about anything careers related. Okay, there's normally 2 of our careers trainers that are there. So myself and Vicky will be there tomorrow. So if you want to come along and have a chat to us, we would love to see you and make you a cuppa. So do feel free to bob in. Any final questions from anyone before we finish up? Are you all okay? Hope that was helpful for you. And enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy the rest of the webinars that you're signed up to. Good luck with your job search, and we'll hopefully see you soon. You're welcome. Take care.